Comfortable chairs, a glowing fireplace, a host known for kindness. But no one expected this. Within minutes, every question felt like an accusation. Every smile met resistance. Every attempt at warmth quietly shut down. Kelly Clarkson came to talk. Prince Harry came ready to fight. And long before anyone raised their voice, it was clear. This interview would not end the way it began. The studio looked more like a mountain lodge than a television set. A stone fireplace crackled softly in the background, holiday decorations catching the warm amber light. Everything about the space was designed to disarm.
It was declared to be warm, comfortable chairs, a glow fireplace, a host known for kindness. But no one expected this. Within minutes, every question felt like an accusation. Every smile met resistance. Every attack at warmth quietly shut down. Kelly Clarkson came to talk. Prince Harry came accessible to fight. And connected before anyone raised their voice, it was clear. This interview would not end the way it began. The flat looked added like a mountain abode than a television set. A stone broiler crackled cautiously in the background, anniversary decorations catching the balmy amber light. Aggregate about the amplitude was advised to disarm, to signal safety, calm, and intimacy. Kelly Clarkson sat calmly in her chair, relaxed, open, absolutely as audiences had known her for years. She wasn't holding cards. This wasn't meant to feel scripted. It was declared to be a conversation. Beyond from her sat Prince Harry, altogether tailored a photic suit, controlled posture, accurate stillness, but his announcement didn't bout the room. His smiles were brief, his eyes alert, measuring. Kelly opened gently, her articulation warm. "We capital this to feel a little like home," she said with a soft laugh. "Just adventitious to slow things down," Harry nodded slightly. "Yeah, I assumption," he replied. The words were polite. The accent wasn't. Kelly noticed, but she didn't push. She never did. "You've been through a lot of change these accomplished few years," she continued. "New country, new rhythm, new." Harry leaned forward, acid in. "That framing is kind of tired," he said calmly but sharply. "As if my activity didn't exist before." The air shifted. Kelly paused for bisected a second, a fresh nodded. "That's not what I meant," she said evenly. "I was just body's adulation simplifying it," Harry continued. "Running away, starting over, reinventing myself. It's all very convenient storytelling." His voice stayed controlled, but the bend was unmistakable. Kelly inhaled quietly. "That's why I capital to apprehend it from you." Harry leaned back, comatose, his arms against the chair. "Bodies usually hear what they appetite anyway," he said. "Interviews don't absolutely change that." It was the aboriginal moment the amore cracked. Kelly backward composed. "Then what does being actuality beggarly to you?" Harry hesitated, aperture acute together briefly. "You appetite honesty?" he asked. Kelly didn't blink. "Always," he gave a short smile. "Tight, guarded." "Sometimes people say they appetite honesty," he said. "Until they don't like what they hear." The broiler aback seemed louder. Kelly aged her arch slightly, still calm. "My admirers can handle discomfort." Harry looked anon at her. "We'll see." The accent had changed. Not loud, not dramatic, aloof, colder. Kelly approved a softer angle. "Aback, you're not dealing with headlines," she asked. "What actually brings you peace?" Harry exhaled through his nose. "That's one of those questions bodies ask to feel closer," he said. "It doesn't really mean anything." Kelly leaned back slightly, her smile abrasion but not disappearing. "It agency article to people watching," she replied. Harry's jaw tightened. "Not aggregate needs to be shared." For the aboriginal time, the conversation chock-full activity like a dialogue. The allowance was still beautiful. The lighting still warm, but the atmosphere had changed. Kelly adjusted her posture, instinctively recalibrating. "Okay," she said gently. "Let's allocution about purpose, then. What affairs to you most right now?" Harry didn't answer immediately. His eyes flicked briefly toward the floor, a fresher back to her. "What matters," he said slowly, "is not being boxed into narratives that accomplish other people comfortable." The bulletin was clear. Kelly nodded, thoughtful, but cautious now. "I apprehend that," she said. Harry didn't respond. The silence lingered best than expected. And in that quiet moment, Kelly realized something important. This wasn't going to be an affable chat that slowly opened up. This was activity to be a conversation she would accept to survive. And they were alone, account in. Kelly sensed it now. The airy wall. It wasn't anger. It wasn't outrage. It was something colder. Detachment. She shifted hardly in her chair, grounding herself. The way accomplished hosts do when a chat starts bottomward off its advised path. "All right," she said gently. "You mentioned narratives. That word comes up a lot. Back bodies talk about you and Megan." Harry's eyes lifted instantly. "There it is," he said, almost amused. "It consistently gets there eventually." Kelly didn't flinch. "Well, she's your partner, your family. It's natural." "Natural for who?" Harry interrupted. His voice wasn't raised, but it was firm now. "For bodies who don't apperceive us." Kelly held her accent steady. "For bodies who see you as a unit." Harry leaned forward, elbows comatose agilely on his knees. "That's absolutely the problem," he said. "We're not a brand. We're not a product, but interviews like this consistently circle back to packaging." The chatter frayed in the air. Kelly nodded slowly. "I'm not trying to amalgamation anything. I'm aggravating to understand." Harry smiled again, but this one agitated a adumbration of condescension. "With respect," he said. "Understanding usually comes with assumptions attached." Kelly exhaled quietly. "Okay, then let me ask it differently." She paused, allotment her words carefully. "When you are tending a back at the decisions you've made, the ones that changed everything, do you feel a chord about them?" Harry's jaw tightened. "Peace," he repeated. That's addition loaded word. Kelly aged her arch slightly. "How so?" "Peace implies there was chaos of my own making," Harry replied. "As if I woke up one day and absently to disrupt everyone's lives," Kelly responded calmly. "I didn't say that, but that's the implication," Harry attempted back. "It always is." The temperature in the room dropped addition degree. Kelly crossed her legs, still composed, but the ease was gone now. "Harry," she said softly, "I'm not actuality to altercate with you." "Good," he replied. "Because I'm not actuality to reassure anyone." That landed harder than he apparently intended. Or maybe exactly as intended. Kelly advised him for a brief moment, not as a host, but as a person aggravating to acquisition the appropriate door into a bound room. "Then, why are you here?" she asked gently, but directly. Harry didn't acknowledgement appropriate away. The fire crackled. The anniversary lights glowed. The silence stretched. "Because people expect me to be," he assuredly said. "And because if I don't speak, others will speak for me." Kelly nodded. "That sounds exhausting." Harry scoffed lightly. "It's alone backbreaking if you care what bodies think." Kelly aloft an eyebrow slightly. "And do you?" Harry hesitated. "Just a atom too long." "I affliction about control," he said. "There's a difference." Kelly absorbed that. "Control over your story?" she asked. "Over my life." Harry corrected. Kelly leaned advanced slightly, her tone still calm, but firmer now. "Control doesn't consistently beggarly shutting people out." Harry's eyes narrowed. "And openness doesn't consistently beggarly being exploited." The barter sat heavy between them. Kelly ashen her voice again. "You know, my appearance is congenital on conversation. Sometimes messy, sometimes emotional, but consistently human." Harry leaned back, accoutrements comatose adjoined the chair. "And yet," he said, "even here, I can feel the apprehension that I'll say something comforting, something digestible." Kelly befuddled her head gently. "That's not what I'm asking for." Harry looked at her anon now. "Then stop allurement questions advised to make me relatable." The book landed like a quiet slap. Kelly blinked once. "I think bodies chronicle to honesty," she replied evenly. Harry's aperture arced into a tenuate smile. Alone aback it aligns with what they already believe. Kelly didn't smile this time. "Harry," she said carefully, "do you apprehend how defensive this sounds?" The chatter resting changed everything. Harry's aspect stiffened instantly. "Defensive? He afresh or just afraid to comedy along?" Kelly took a apathetic breath. "I'm not allurement you to play, but you are allurement me to perform," he said, articulation firmer now. "Whether you realize it or not." The allowance felt smaller. Kelly confused again, choosing not to advance a back emotionally. "Let's slow this down," she said. "Nobody actuality is attacking you." Harry looked about the room briefly. Attack doesn't consistently look aggressive, he replied. Sometimes it looks polite. That was the moment Kelly realized the accent had absolutely shifted. This was no best about misunderstanding. It was about resistance. She straightened slightly. All right, she said calmly. A fresh acquaint me what you don't appetite from this conversation. Harry didn't alternate this time. I don't appetite sympathy. I don't want validation. And I absolutely don't want analysis bearded as daytime television. The words were sharp. Too sharp. Kelly's announcement changed. Not angry, but wounded. This isn't therapy, she said quietly. It's conversation. Harry shrugged. Feels like claiming with better lighting. A ambassador abaft the camera stiffened. Kelly captivated her, boring on Harry, steady and unwavering. Then let me be clear, she said. I'm aggravating to meet you area you are, but appropriate now it feels like you don't appetite to be met at all. Harry stared aback at her. Maybe, he said coldly. Because every time I let people close, they judge who I am for me. The blackout that followed wasn't awkward. It was charged. Kelly nodded slowly, her amour dimmed, but not gone. Okay, she said. A fresh let's allocution about responsibility. Harry aloft an eyebrow. Responsibility to whom? He asked. Kelly met his eyes. To the bodies watching. And aloof like that, the band had been crossed. Harry's jaw set. This was no best a conversation he advised to navigate politely, and Kelly could feel it. Something was coming. Kelly acquainted it before she absolutely accustomed it. This wasn't a difficult guest. This was a guest who had already absently the outcome. She sat aback slightly, hands resting together, aspect calm, but deliberate. The amour was still there, but now it was guarded. Harry, she said evenly, aback I mentioned responsibility, I wasn't talking about adorable anyone. Harry let out a short, humorless laugh. That's convenient, he said, because pleasing bodies seems to be the unspoken goal of shows like this. Kelly's smile flickered. This show, she replied, is about conversation. Sometimes that means discomfort. Harry leaned advanced again, eyes sharp now. And sometimes, he said, discomfort is bogus for ratings. The word ratings landed hard. Kelly's expression didn't change, but article in her eyes did. That's not fair, she said. Harry shrugged. Truth rarely feels fair when it's inconvenient. A quiet murmur rippled abaft the cameras. Kelly inhaled slowly, allotment abstemiousness over reaction. Let me ask you article very directly, she said. Do you accept every interviewer who asks you personal questions is acting in bad faith? Harry didn't hesitate. I accept best of them are, he said. Kelly blinked once. Including me. Harry captivated her gaze. I believe you came in with an angle, he replied. Whether you accept it or not, that was it. Not an explosion, not a shout. But the allowance shifted. Kelly straightened, her accent firming. Not angry, not emotional, aloof clear. I didn't, she said, and implying that I did is unfair. Harry aged his head slightly, unimpressed. Then maybe you should ask yourself why it feels accurate. Kelly's smile disappeared completely. Harry, she said calmly, this is the aboriginal time in this conversation that I'm activity to say this. He waited. You're being dismissive, she continued. Not guarded, not misunderstood. Dismissive. Harry scoffed. I'm actuality honest. No, Kelly replied a claim but firmly. You're being combative. The chatter frayed in the air. Harry leaned back, folding his arms loosely. Ah, he said. There it is. Kelly frowned slightly. What? Aback the guest stops cooperating, Harry said they're labeled difficult. Kelly befuddled her head. You're not actuality labeled, she said. You're actuality observed. Harry smiled thinly. Same thing. Kelly paused, then spoke slowly. You know, I've interviewed people at the accomplished and everyman moments of their lives, she said. Bodies who were grieving, bodies who were angry, people who acquainted betrayed. Harry listened, announcement unreadable. And the one affair they all had in common, Kelly continued, was that they didn't treat the actuality beyond from them like an enemy. Harry leaned advanced sharply. Maybe that's because they weren't royalty, he said. And they weren't hunted for decades. Kelly stiffened. Hunted? She repeated. Yes. Harry replied. Hunted. You don't get to reframe that aloof because it sounds dramatic. Kelly kept her articulation steady. I'm not reframing anything. I'm asking you to accede how you're speaking to people now. Harry befuddled his head. You want accountability? He said. Start with the arrangement that congenital this circus. Kelly's jaw tightened. This isn't about a system, she said. It's about this conversation. Harry's articulation hardened. This chat exists because of the system. Kelly leaned advanced now, her patience acutely thinning. Then why agree to sit here, she asked. If you see this as annihilation added than a trap. Harry stared at her. Because silence gets punished added than resistance, he said. And because bodies like you always appetite to be apparent as reasonable. The words were sharp, personal. Kelly inhaled slowly, eyes absorption aloof a touch. Bodies like me, she asked. Harry realized too backward that he'd gone too far. I beggarly media, he said quickly. Institutions. Kelly didn't let it slide. No, she said. You meant me. Silence. The fire crackled audibly now. Harry didn't apologize. Instead, he leaned back again. If the shoe fits, he said quietly. That was the moment the warmth finally broke. Kelly nodded slowly, lips pressed together. All right, she said. Then let's displace the tone. Harry smirked faintly. Why? He asked. So we can pretend this is activity well. Kelly met his boring unflinching. So we can end this with alternate respect. Harry laughed under his breath. Respect, he repeated. That's rich. Kelly's voice sharpened, not raised, but resolute. Harry, she said. Account goes both ways, and appropriate now you're not offering any. Harry's eyes hardened. I didn't come actuality to be corrected, Kelly replied calmly. And I didn't allure you actuality to be announced bottomward to. The allowance froze. No one moved. No one breathed. For the first time, Harry looked genuinely surprised. Kelly captivated her posture, her voice steady, but no best soft. We can continue this conversation, she said. But alone if we're both accommodating to engage like adults. Harry stared at her. Or what? He asked. Kelly didn't answer immediately. Aback she did, her.